Welcome to the 2026 Spring Town Hall Debate hosted by the Business Council of Douglas County. We're so glad that you're all here. Our attendees in the building, we have a full house, and we welcome everyone that's viewing from home and online. Thank you for all for being here. I'm Renee Louie, Executive Director and CEO of the Business Council of Douglas County, and I'm honored to welcome all of you here in person and online. We're proud to celebrate our 24th year for the Town Hall Debate. This series has continuously provided a fair, balanced place for candidates to share with you exactly why they want the job that they want and why they want your vote. What started as a local gathering at the CVIC Hall back in 2002 has grown into the most respected candidate forum in Douglas County for so many years. Year after year, this event reaches so many. It also reaches thousands of people who view it online after. And you too can replay it after. In a few days, it'll be up live on our website, bcdouglascounty.org. It will be a link to YouTube, to our YouTube channel. And we have lots of great things up there, including all the prior debates. This community clearly cares deeply about leadership, accountability, and being informed. That would be you. Tonight's your opportunity to hear directly from the candidates, their priorities, their values, and how they plan to lead, and how they plan to do the job. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce our moderators for the evening. I have Jacques Etchegoyen to my left, your right, a man I've admired for 25 years. Jacques is a respected Douglas County leader with decades of experience in public service, land use, and community planning. Anybody that knows him is a lucky person, and I say that from my heart. He has served Douglas County as a planning commissioner, as a county commissioner, as a board member of the East Fork Fire Board, and about 100 other things. His contributions have been critical decisions that he has made for our community, impacting public safety, responsible growth, long-term community planning, and land conservation. He is tops. In addition to his public service, Jacques is a successful business owner and brings a practical, real-world perspective to issues that impact you living in Douglas County. He is also a Lifetime Achievement Award winner from the Business Council of Douglas County. Thank you, Jacques, for all that you do. Jacques is known for his fair and measured approach and his ability to navigate extremely complicated and complex issues from here to Washington, D.C. He does with clarity, respect, and makes him an excellent moderator, and we're very lucky to have you. Welcome, Jacques.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Me.
To my right, your left, I have Woody Worthington. Woody is a strategic partnership leader advancing agriculture, education, and public policy through real-world, hands-on impact. I've known Woody for years and years and years, but we're both just 29. He was raised on a ranch, and he served in the U.S. Marine Corps. I'd like to thank him for his service. I have made it a point to try to get to every person in the room this evening that I could to thank them for their service, if they had a hat, an emblem, or anything indicating their service. If I missed you, please accept from our heart to you, thank you for your service to our country, for all those that have served. We appreciate you. I have a daughter and a son-in-law in the Navy. My son-in-law is a chief. He's on his ship right now. We're very proud of them both. And I understand the sacrifices that you have made. We appreciate you. So Woody, who's really fun too, he built his career on land stewardship, kind of like Jacques. Strong relationships and getting things done the right way. And I say that from my heart. He has spent, I don't know, we're pretty close on the number of hours in the last 30 years at the legislature. He has spent so much time at the legislature. He has respected voice in agriculture and education, shaping literal programs and influencing policy and expanding hands-on learning that connects students and communities to things that matter, such as agriculture and our heritage here. I could go on about these two guys all night. Woody works with legislators, students, communities across the nation. He's had an impact, but Douglas County is his home. He has worked in Nevada's 17 counties, strengthening agriculture and building understanding and respect for agriculture. His focus is simple: expand impact, build stronger, healthier communities. Woody, welcome, and thank you for being our second moderator tonight.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes. A thing about both of these people is they align people, purpose, and possibility all day, every day. They actually create lasting impact. So you definitely want to know these two gentlemen. And if today's the first day you've met them, please make a friend of them and enjoy them for the rest of the evening. But please keep up with them going forward. We thank them both for their commitment to public service and for tonight. It's going to be fun. These guys are great. So we also want to thank the tremendous staff here in the building. This is one of the crown jewels of Douglas County. Don't you love this building? It is not a community center. I always say it's the center of the community. It's where everyone comes to be together. Now more than ever, we are navigating extremely complex challenges: economic pressure, growth, taxes, infrastructure, and preserving the character of where we live. Leadership matters, and informed voters matter more. And that's what you are going to be today. To all of the candidates, once again, thank you for your commitment and willingness to serve. All the candidates were invited that were on the ballot to come tonight. The format tonight has been refined over the 24 years, but it's not changed much. It's very balanced, very meaningful, and you'll hear very structured alignment with all of the debate all evening. Our moderators will guide the discussion, and it will be respectful and productive, just like always. Again, we ask everyone to maintain professional, focused, and respectful attendance this evening so that our recordings for the rest of the community in these districts can watch that and enjoy it just as you are tonight. So it will again be replayed as often as you wish. So what do you say? Let's get started. Sound good? All right. Gentlemen, please take your places. Start your engines. Yes. All right. While they're getting set, I'm going to invite the candidates for county commission to come up while the moderators are getting set. Come on up, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you right here. Thank you so much. Thank you right here. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. All right, enjoy.
All right, welcome to the Douglas County 2026 Spring Town Hall Debate. It's been going on, did you say 24 years?
Yes, I started when I was 2.
Yes, yeah, 2 years old. So really excited to be here. As Renee alluded, I was in the Marine Corps, had a great tour guide. So structure is of the utmost importance. So we're going to go over all the rules and regulations. But before we do that, I just want to say thank you, Renee Louie. Been a good friend of mine for a couple years. And the Business Council of Douglas County, as well as the Community Center here, bringing these candidates together. And thank you so much for coming, you guys. I really, really appreciate it. And it's a very important public service. It's been tough, right? I mean, at the end of the day, but it's well worth it. So thank you so much. I appreciate it once again. 24 years. And thank you guys for RSVPing too as well and being ready to go. I think one of you were first, but we won't even bring that up. So good job there. This evening, Jacques, you got a few things you wanted to say?
Yeah, I kind of want to give some relevance to the importance of voting. And folks that know me know that I've got to tell an old Carson Valley, Douglas County story. So it turns out in 1849, obviously, there were thousands, tens of thousands of people going through Carson Valley and headed toward the gold fields outside of Sacramento in the western part of the Sierra Nevada. And one of those folks was a gentleman by the name of Ben Palmer. And we're talking again, 1849, he's headed with all the rest, and he gets over there and he realizes, you know, it's pretty competitive. He didn't find very much gold, and so he came back. He said, I remember that beautiful valley that we went through, and there are a couple of nice creeks coming out of the mountain. I think I could create a ranch there. So about a mile south of the Scassa Ranch, and some of you may know where that is, Ben Palmer put his shovel in the ground and said, I'm going to be a rancher. And so in 1851, he became the third or fourth homestead in Nevada, which was part of the Utah Territory at the time. And he ended up with about 2,000 acres, one of the biggest taxpayers in Douglas County at the time. They asked him to be the foreman for the Douglas County Grand Jury. And he said, you know, I'd be very honored to be the foreman for the grand jury in Douglas County. He said, you know, I can't legally vote yet. Well, it turns out Ben Palmer was a freed slave from North Carolina. He was African American in 1851, and they asked him to be on the grand jury. He couldn't vote until 1869, when Nevada became the first state to allow people of color to vote. Anyway, Ben Palmer is an important part of this community, and I think that tells you a lot when they made him foreman of the grand jury. And they wanted him to run for the legislature, but he couldn't because he couldn't vote in Nevada yet. But he was quite the gentleman, and the story about him is mostly lost in history, but it's a phenomenal story. And with that, we'll move on.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You bet.
You need any history or anything like that? Go check out Jacques. I mean, he's got it all. Our conversations are a little bit longer. I'm a little long-winded. It might take 2 or 3 days. So, but amazing stuff, I tell you what, and it's just up there. So tonight's event. All right, we're already started. We're live. We'll focus on the candidates for important positions. All candidates were invited for these races. Once again, thank you for RSVPing. We are looking forward to your participation in a successful evening of respectful and meaningful dialogue and hearing your thoughts about the job they are about to, they are campaigning for. We know you worked hard in your preparation, and we appreciate your efforts. You've been studying, see a lot of smoke back there. You're ready to go. We will commence with the opening remarks from each candidate. The order of the opening remarks was card drawn, just like Nevada, right? We picked the cards the good old-fashioned way. When each debate is concluded, we will call a brief break, 10 minutes break, while the next group, AB 39, comes up. We ask you to stay if possible, for community to visit with you during breaks after the final debate. So mingle a little bit is basically what we're saying. All right, the format of the evening. Once the ground rules have been reviewed by the moderator, each candidate will be introduced and offer their opening remarks in order in which they drew the cards. Each candidate will be given up to 1 minute opening remarks. The moderator will call on each candidate, signaling for them to proceed with their opening. After each candidate has given their opening remarks, the moderators will move into the first debate round. You guys got it now? All right, perfect. A pool of more than 50 questions were actually drawn and narrowed down about 6 questions, I think, Jacques. We got some really good hot ones. The timekeeper, Denise, right there, raise your hand. She'll keep you on track. Yellow card is 30 seconds remaining. The red card means your time is up. Please honor your time and do not speak past the red card, because I don't know if you have another card, but, oh, it is. Okay, yeah, time has expired, so let's not get that one. Perfect. Opponents may request to rebut a response in a debate and further. We'll just take a look at that. Your facial expression will always be the answer, like, what? So we'll give you that opportunity. We'll keep it in check, though. If granted a rebuttal, they will be granted 30 seconds to rebut. The moderator will then move to the next question in the reverse order. The moderator may choose to ask follow-up questions of your choosing based on your time in the community and your knowledge and question on issues, and then move to the new question round. Good to go so far? Good to go. And then finally, the audience round. I think Renee touched on it a little bit. We will make sure you get your questions in there that you want. And then it'll go to that table, and then we'll grab them, and then we'll take a look at them, and then we'll go to that round. And that audience round is the next. It's questions for the audience. The audience and community have the opportunity, like I said, to submit written questions to be held table. Perfect. Wait, we said something about phones. It's okay. Oh, okay, that was a reminder. Okay, housekeeping, no Okay, so we got that taken care of, out of the way. I love that music. Who is that? Okay, so there we go. So, and now we get to the audience. We're at the final round. The final round is closing remarks. All candidates will have 1 minute and 30 seconds for final remarks. There are no rebuttals, unfortunately, or debating in the final round. The order you drew before the debate to set who is first, second, etc. for opening remarks will be reversed in the final round. So we got that all written down, I think. We'll get you taken care of, don't worry about it. And then so, without further ado, you guys understand the rules? All right, let's go. Yes? Good to go? All right, got it? Okay. So by card draw, we ended up with, the first one is Mimi, second Diane's, third is Scott, and fourth is Charla. So the first question here is for all you guys, or your opening comments. Sorry, I almost jumped right ahead. I'm ready to go. I was on a time frame. Sorry, go ahead. Yes, so go ahead and go first, Mimi. Sorry about that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So Douglas County needs leadership that follows the rules, respects private property rights, and answers to the voters. As a Douglas County employee for 24 years, with 11 of those years as a community development director, I know how government works, and I believe I can make it work better for you. I support smart planning principles consistent with the adopted master plan, protecting water rights and the water resources, essentially the aquifer, being fiscally responsible with use of taxpayer money and spending on infrastructure. I support Lake Tahoe environment and the standards that are set. And I also support open space floodplain protection for the future, for today and in the future. And lastly, growth needs to pay for itself today again. Thank you for this opportunity to speak first.
You just picked the good card. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
I did.
Okay, Diane,
Good.
you're up next. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank Ms. Louie for this event tonight and the Business Council of Douglas County. I want to thank the moderators, Mr. Etchigoan and Mr. Worthington. I know you, but I have not met you, but I will. And I want to thank everybody for coming. I think there's like an NBA thing going on, so I'm really glad everyone's here. My name is Diane Imbach, and I'm running for the District 4 seat because I believe Douglas County works best when the residents of our community are treated fairly and heard equally. I'm running to be the voice of the residents, bringing transparency, accountability, and commitment to putting community first. The question in this election is simple. Continue the same approach or choose leadership that actually listens before decisions are made. I have lived in Zephyr Cove for over 36 years. I have been in banking experience, management experience for over 45 years. And I've been very active as a member in the community, as a board member for numerous government and non.
I'm slacking.
Time
Your time
expired.
is expired, yes.
Okay, well, thank you.
Sorry, great. Perfect, thank you. Scott?
All right. Hi, my name is Scott Morgan, and I am the only Republican candidate running for County Commission in District 4. Before I get started, I want to thank my wife for her support in this endeavor. So my wife's right over here. Thank you, sweetheart. I bring nearly 3 decades of executive leadership experience to Douglas County. I have a deep working knowledge of the county's finances, including oversight of 36 separate funds, experience managing over $233 million in operating budget. I have a direct experience drafting county ordinances, state law, and passing federal legislation. I'm prepared to hit the ground running on day one. The building we're in today is an example of my leadership. It was controversial at the time. I stayed true to the course. Nearly cost me my job, to be quite honest. I delivered it ahead of schedule and under budget, and today it saves our taxpayers over $2 million a year in long-term care costs. This is a great facility, as Ms. Louie had said. I bring experience, integrity, and collaborative approach to Douglas County. I am not your typical county candidate. I have more experience than most, and I'm pleased to be up here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. And Charlotte, thank you.
Thank you. Friends and neighbors, I am glad you are here tonight. Your concerns are my concerns. You are concerned about growth. You would like it to slow down a little bit. You are, at the same time, concerned about affordable housing. You are concerned about road maintenance, having roads that are drivable. You are concerned about the heavy traffic down 395 in Minden and Gardnerville. If you live in Johnson Lane, you're really concerned about the trucks to and from Painted Rock Mine. If you live at the lake, you are really concerned about evacuation routes and many other things. All of you are concerned about stormwater management ordinance that is currently under discussion. I want to know what you think about that. I look forward to discussing these and other topics that are on your mind because your concerns are the concerns that I work on. I appreciate this opportunity to account for my time in office and to share with you where I want to go during my next term. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Perfect. You landed right on that. Good job. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. We're going to move right into question number 1. So let's drill down a little bit deeper, and we'll talk to Diane. The question is, we understand what you're running for, but why are you running for county commissioner? What makes you qualified? And also, discuss your number 1 priority if elected.
I'm getting my notes, I'm sorry. My first debate.
It's okay.
Sorry about that. Where did it go? I studied really hard and I made notes because I tend to get off base when I talk. I believe I'm a strong candidate because I bring both practical governance experience and deep understanding of our local communities, especially the unique needs of Lake Tahoe. I've served in leadership roles where I've had to make real budget decisions, balance competitive priorities, and keep services financially sound while planning for the future. I think I'm out of time. What sets me apart is a focus on accountability, transparency, and making sure local voices are actually reflected in county decisions. I'm not focused on politics. I'm focused on practical results and improved daily life of the residents. My main concerns is the master plan, the Tahoe area plan, and the Title 20 that will set our future for the county.
Perfect. Thank you, Diane. Just real quick, so what is your number 1 priority if elected? Number 1.
Probably number 1 today is the vacation home rentals. Do you want me to expand?
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Awesome. Up next, we got Scott. So, question was, why are you running for county commissioner? What makes you qualified? And please discuss your number 1 priority if elected.
Sure.
Thank you.
Of course, number 1 on my list is the economy at Lake Tahoe, which is the economic engine for Douglas County. 45% of our property tax incomes comes from the lake. Most of it's spent down here. Vast majority of the room tax, over 90% of the room tax generated at the lake. Vast majority of it spent down here. Our property tax, our sales tax generated outside of internet sales, generated at Lake Tahoe, enjoyed down here. We all benefit when Tahoe succeeds financially. That's a delicate balance, certainly, when we talk about tourism, when we talk about the impact at Lake Tahoe, but we all need to enjoy in that benefit because I'm here for all of Douglas County. Nobody has done more for our seniors, our agriculture community, our law enforcement community than I have over my 31 years of expertise and experience in Douglas County. I'm going to bring that to Douglas County, and I'm going to do it on day 1, and I'm going to work harder than anyone. I have no personal agenda going forward other than to serve, and I am proud to serve, and I'm happy to be here this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott. Appreciate that. Next up is Charla. Why are you running for county commission? What makes you qualified? And also discuss your number 1 priority if elected.
I'm running because I've really enjoyed getting good things done for this county. And we have some things that are unfinished. And I want to see those through to a satisfying resolution that fits with what you want and that solves your problems. My number 1 priority is tied about 4 or 5 ways. That's a really hard thing. But I would say, number one, take care of growth. Be careful with slow growth. Stick to keeping us rural to the extent possible, although a lot of housing has already been approved. At the same time, take care of affordable housing. We need affordable housing, and those two are not incompatible. There are things we can do to make housing more affordable, to allow families and workers to live here. And so those two need to be working in tandem with each other, and I believe that both can be done. Was there another question?
So what's the number one priority if you're elected?
I think I covered that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. And finally, Mimi, why are you running for county commissioner? What makes you qualified? Also, please discuss your number one priority if elected.
Thank you. So I've been on the Middletown board. I was elected in 2024, so I'm familiar with working with a 5-member board and collaborating with them on projects for the town of Minden itself. I also sat on the TRPA governing board, sat in for the Board of Commissioner representative, as well as the TRPA Advisory Planning Commission at Lake Tahoe. So I'm familiar with that process. But the more recent is I worked 11 years as a Douglas County Community Development Director. I worked with residents, business owners, and I understand private property rights and what you're allowed to do and following the regulations such as the master plan, the adopted codes, and the design manual. So I have that experience that this board does not have today, and I believe I can provide a value to that board in reviewing especially controversial projects such as new residential development or flood control basins that need to be built or other infrastructure projects that are necessary. My number one priority is infrastructure planning and funding, as well as funding public safety and keeping on top of
Time
that.
has expired, but go ahead
Thank
and
you.
finish your thought.
I'm done. I'm done.
You're good? Okay, so what was it? The number one?
Infrastructure planning and infrastructure funding.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, Jock, you're up.
Okay, the next question, and we'll start with Scott. Eminent domain is one of the most significant powers held by local government. Douglas County recently moved forward with eminent domain to complete a roadway project. Do you support the county using an eminent domain for infrastructure projects, and where do you draw the line between public need and private property rights? Again, Scott.
You're giving me a yes and no question. Of course, I'm opposed to eminent domain. It probably has a practicality, and that's why it's allowed under state law to do it. But it really revolves around life safety issues, and those people where the greatest good for the greatest benefit. I believe in this particular situation, when it was used in Douglas County, was an issue of last resort. Now, I will also tell you that what I would call a friendly eminent domain can be very beneficial to a landowner at times, and that is an issue that I think should have been explored because there are tax advantages and a number of financial advantages that a county could collaborate with a prospective person that may be under that to do what's called a friendly condemnation. But forced condemnation is really an area of last resort, and I have yet to see an example of where it is needed in the county.
Thank you. Again, I'll repeat the question for Charla. Eminent domain is one of the most significant powers held by local government. Douglas County recently moved forward with eminent domain to complete a roadway project. Do you support the county using eminent domain for infrastructure projects, and where do you draw the line between public need and private property rights?
No, I don't support the county using eminent domain for projects. However, we were faced with either violating a contract that I inherited from 2019. We either had to violate that contract or we had to use eminent domain to do our best to meet the terms of the contract. It was something that I hated doing. My question to my opponent is, how would you handle matters related to that contract since you filed testimony supporting Park Ranch Holdings in their lawsuit against the county? I don't see how you're going to deal with those things because it's a clear conflict of interest and isn't loyal to the taxpayers as an advocate as a commissioner, should be an advocate for the taxpayers and the county.
We'll go ahead and express a rebuttal on that, if you'd like. Scott, what do you think in that context?
I don't believe she was talking to me.
No, I know. I'm just messing with you. God was giving him a hard time because he's leaning. He's like, ah. So who would oppose that? Help me out, Charlotte. On that, you said that someone opposed that eminent domain, or your opponent, or what was or was it Mimi that? Yeah, go ahead, Mimi. You're up. Sorry for a rebuttal. I'm just making it dicey.
Thank you. Thank you. The simple answer is no, I do not support eminent domain. I spoke twice in front of the Board of Commissioners against the eminent domain process, and the main reason for that is that this was brought on by staff. It was an issue with the design of the road, and if the road had been designed properly to begin with, the board did not have to go forward with eminent domain. And I pointed that out to the board, and the board never responded to that. I would say that in rebuttal to the comment regarding information submitted to the court, as the former community development director and floodplain administrator, I submitted a declaration to the court in support of an injunction to stop the construction of Muller Parkway because it did not meet the design standard. It had nothing to do with eminent domain.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I had to jump in there.
That's fine.
Diane, question for you, and I'll repeat what it is. Eminent domain is one of the most significant powers held by local government. Douglas County recently moved forward with eminent domain to complete a roadway project. Do you support county using eminent domain for infrastructure projects? And where do you draw the line between public need and private property rights?
No, I do not support I can't even say the word. I do not support this, but I think as one of them said, if you're stuck in a contract that you are kind of stuck to get done, sometimes that's the alternative. But this particular project, it's important to be clear, it is not a finished project. It's got a portion built. It's operational, but it's got future phases that still have to go through approval and get done. And so it's just a big mess, I think, that this project happened, or that it was the way it was put together. But no, I do not support the eminent domain for them to take that. So.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Moving on to question 3. This is a good one. The board, May 5th special meeting featured the stormwater utility rate, revenue analysis and recommendations at its top agenda. Critics argue that utility fee is effectively a new tax imposed on property owners without a vote of the people, while proponents say it's the only sustainable way to fund the flood control and aging, draining infrastructure. This question is going to go to you, Charlotte, so I'm giving you a lead in, so be ready. Here we go. As a commissioner, would you vote to adopt the proposed stormwater utility rate structured as recommended? If yes, how do you justify the cost burden on fixed income residents and small businesses? Now, if no, exactly where would you find the revenue to fund stormwater infrastructure obligations the county is already legally responsible for?
The question has a lot of good information in it, actually. And I'm not going to say yes or no. This isn't in front of us yet, and I need to hear from you. I need to hear what you want. The answer to where do you get stormwater funding, if not from here, there is no good answer. 3 previous stormwater committees looked deeply at this, and 3 committees said, you need to form a stormwater utility. That's the only good answer. We either leave the infrastructure undone, open ourselves to liability from lawsuits because we haven't prevented flooding, or we have to take money, a lot of money, from somewhere else. It's been coming from roads. That's why roads are suffering. If we use the stormwater, enact the fares, the fees, taxes, whatever you want to call them, we have the funding, but it does impose a charge on you. Are you willing? I want to hear from you.
Thank you. All right. Mimi, the question goes to you. As a commissioner, would you vote yes for the structures recommended, or will you vote no? And where will the funding come from for Storewater? Thank you.
That's true. Excuse me, thank you for the question. It is a tax, although the state law says it's a utility user fee. It's essentially a tax, and so everyone would be taxed according to their schedule that they presented at the Board of Commissioners meeting yesterday. There is no funding today for that, and so the issue is always, where do you get the revenue? And lately, or the last few years, been robbing Peter to pay Paul. It comes out of road maintenance and goes into stormwater, or goes from stormwater to road maintenance. And both funds don't have sufficient revenue. And so it's a quandary. How do you fund that? One of the issues we've dealt with in the past is to look at FEMA grants, hazard mitigation grants for areas that have flooded, and that has helped some areas. Worked on the Johnson Lane Basin after litigation, and property owners were affected by that. So there are other ways to look at that. We can also look at setting up an assessment district for a targeted area, and those property owners pay into a project that would benefit them over time. I'm not saying that's a good answer, but it would alleviate the problem of taxing everyone. It would just be certain areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mimi. Appreciate it. Question goes to you, Diane, too, as well. If you vote yes, then, sorry, I'm out of sorts here, sorry. If you adopt the proposed stormwater utility rate structures as recommended, how do you justify the cost burden of fixed income residents and small businesses? And if no, exactly where would you find the revenue to fund the stormwater infrastructure obligation to the county?
So I believe that we need a smarter approach. Stormwater management matters, and we all want to protect our homes, our roads, and especially Tahoe. But the question isn't whether we address it. The question is, how do we do it fairly? Right now, Douglas County is proposing a new monthly utility fee, as we know. For many residents, that's just another bill when costs are already rising. And there are real concerns about fairness, whether people in lower risk areas are being asked to subsidize a project that primarily benefits other parts of the county. Prioritizing the highest risk projects first and ensuring transparency on how the funds are spent and make sure any solution is equitable across Tahoe and the Valley is what's important. This comes down to trust. Residents need to know their money is being used responsibly, that we're solving the problem, and we're not just creating a new fee. We can protect our community and our environment without overburdening the people who live here. So I don't know if that answered your question, but I think we just need to assure the residents it'll be used the right way.
Perfect, thank you. Mm-hmm. All right, Scott, you're up. We saved best for last. Here we go. All right. Okay, I figured that.
All right.
Go ahead.
You know what? I didn't get a lot of credit for this. Back in 2013, I ran social services for Douglas County. Ran it so effectively that we shifted 6 cents of property tax to the general fund to fund roads. Portion of that is now funding stormwater. We wouldn't even be here talking to the extent, because we wouldn't even have a stormwater program. We wouldn't have a road maintenance program if it were not for those efforts. My continued operation currently saves us $2 million a year in long-term care cost. Those are direct dollars going into the general fund to fund these important programs. Now, with respect to the utility operator fee, or the utility stormwater utility, we've been kicking this around since 2019. Obviously, they introduced an ordinance yesterday. Currently a $1.1 million budget. They want to take it to $4.5 million. I need more information about that, because my two big concern is affordability and fairness. I live in an area 7,700 feet. It's going to take Noah's Ark for it to flood my house. I'm not going to support this if it has a drastic effect on our businesses, because our businesses make our jobs and allows us to live here, allows families to live here in this community, and it has to do more for agriculture in our community. They convey our water, they hold our stormwater.
Thank you much. Appreciate that. I'm going to add to it because I'm the moderator. And you alluded to it for agriculture. Charlotte, I'm going to start with you. Where is the agriculture folks in there? Because we've been getting the brunt of it the whole time and just, hey, appreciate it. The storm went through. So can you give me some thoughts on that?
I can.
Thank you.
Courtney Walker, our stormwater director, has worked very closely with agriculture, and I have spoken to many members of the agricultural community. Are you in favor of this stormwater? And they say yes. They say yes because this stormwater utility supports their work in two different ways. It makes us a partner in keeping the waterways moving water. The same waterways that move storm water also move irrigation water. And when the county helps keep those clear, it helps agriculture. Another important way, I digress for a moment. When I ran 4 years ago, I said, I will keep us rural. And I have done everything said I would do to keep us rural. But I have limited means to keep us rural. And this stormwater program would provide funds to buy development rights from willing ranchers. And we could protect ranch lands in ways that we don't have the funds to do now. And those ranch lands are what we all want to keep our county rural. So yes, ag benefits a lot.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm going to go.
I brought the topic up. Could I elaborate for just a few moments?
Go ahead, Scott.
Thank you.
You got it.
You know, during my 31 years as an executive in Douglas County, up to the assistant county manager, I have supported agriculture through noxious weed control, fought for those budgets. It's one of the few benefits the ag community has. They convey our water, they convey our storm water, and they are vital to our recharge. If we send all that river down the Carson River, it goes right to Lahontan. We need to keep it here, and we park that water on that ag land, and we need to make sure that our ag community is protected and compensated for their efforts.
Thank you very much for that, Scott. Mimi, what's your take on that for agriculture, stormwater?
So
Yes, go ahead, Mimi.
Thank you. My turn?
Yes,
Thank you.
got it. Sorry.
So I sat at one of the agriculture meetings with the ranchers regarding the stormwater utility, and the majority said, yes, this is, we're okay because you're going to exempt us from having to pay any future fee. That was the crux of the discussion, as well as I asked the community, do you want to be compensated for cleaning the ditches for the county? Because you go out there and you do that after a flood event and no one's compensating you. And and I was surprised, they all said, no, we don't want compensation, this is what we do. And that's really pride in what you do in terms of the ranching and the farming. But let me go back to the conservation easement section of the stormwater utility. Money would be used to purchase conservation easements. In order to do that, you have to strip the development rights off that land, and the county will be holding that development right. What is the county going to do with that development right once they purchase it? Is it going to be banked? Is it going to be thrown away? What's going to happen with it? And the board hasn't answered that question yet.
Thank you, Mimi and Diane.
Yeah, it just maybe not from the community, the rural community, but from Tahoe. I know that Megan Kelly, who's with our Tahoe Nevada Conservation, she's very for this fee. They've done a lot of work up at Tahoe to protect the lake and to do stormwater studies and to do stormwater work. And so I think I have not talked to everyone, but I think the majority of the population up there is for this, because I know you worry about how it affects rural, the farms, or how it affects somebody that's not there, but you all use the same roads. It's our community, so we need to protect our community and protect our lake. So.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it. Jacques, you're up.
Yep.
Number 4.
Yeah.
The delicious one. All right.
Okay, so a nice simple one. What are the 3 most important things you plan to do as a county commissioner to help attract new business and support existing businesses? And Mimi, you're on first.
Thank you. So I understand that the county has changed over a new electronic system for submitting permits, Oracle, and it's not going well. I talked to someone today, and they're still waiting for a response from the county. And the county budget process, Mr. Dallaire talked about a month ago regarding trying to fix those problems. That has to be fixed, number 1. Time is money when it comes to building anything, whether you're a private property owner, building a garage, or if you're a developer building a new home. So, electronic submittal needs to be corrected. The other thing is to look at ways to improve the development process. It takes too long. We used to have a time frame, 10-day turnaround on the review of permits. That no longer happens. That needs to be changed. I'm not sure if it's a staffing level or experience or knowledge, but that needs to be changed. Okay, I'm out, sorry.
Yep, that's it.
That's it.
You did good.
Is
Perfect.
that it? Sorry.
All right.
Diane, what are the 3 most important things you plan to do as a county commissioner to help attract new business and support existing businesses?
Well, I kind of have a different take on that. So county commissioners, we're not in the business of recruiting businesses, and we don't directly create jobs or decide who moves into our community, but we absolutely shape the conditions that determine whether growth is even possible. The real responsibility starts with the basics: land use, zoning, infrastructure, and public investment. If housing is constrained, if permitting is slow, if roads, water, sewer, or broadband don't keep up, then businesses and even younger residents simply can't locate here, even if they want to. We also influence the economic climate through taxes, fees, and regulatory predictability. Small businesses and employers look for stability and clear path forward when they decide where to invest. And in places like Douglas County and at the lake, there's an added responsibility balancing growth with the environmental protection and community character of our county, while still making sure we don't price out the next generation. So the bottom
Your
line is
time is
this:
up. Sorry.
commissioners don't bring business, but
You're up. I know.
we decide whether the community can attract them.
Yeah, we're good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Scott, I'll repeat the question. What are the 3 most important things you plan to do as a county commissioner to help attract new businesses and support existing businesses?
Thank you. This is an easy question. 1, we got to keep the businesses we have, particularly up at Lake Tahoe. We are fighting perception, loving Tahoe to death. There's restrictions on how many events we can have at our event center, how many events we can have up at the regular casino core. We are fighting an economy with 2 hands tied behind our back. They're best equipped to regulate that. They have done an outstanding job with room rates, controlling occupancy, and controlling visitors in the Tahoe Basin. That goes down here as well. We need to be more friendly to our existing businesses because you're going to hire our employees. Your economy needs to grow today and tomorrow. And Douglas County should not be standing in the way of you growing your business and developing yours. Next is, as previously mentioned, you know what, we are part of Northern Nevada Development Agency, NNDNA, and I sat on those boards and I watched Story County take business from us. I've watched Lyon County take business from us. Why? Because Douglas County, not business friendly. We will do better. I can do better.
Perfect. Thank you, Scott. You landed the plane. It was amazing. All right, Charla.
Charla, what are the 3 most important things you plan to do as a county commissioner to help attract new businesses and support existing businesses?
I agree with much of what has been said. We are well underway to increasing the speed permits get through community development. The software has been implemented. It's a transition. We're working on Title 20 update that will make it much easier and quicker and user-friendly to get permits through. Affordable housing. We can do better with that. We can do more. That will be a focus my second term. It needs to be in the right place. We need to incentivize. We need to do building permit fees could be postponed until certificate of occupancy and such kind of incentivizing. And once we know, we need to do a study to find out exactly what is our housing needs, and then we can require developers to bring in that kind of mix of housing when they bring in a project to us, because we need to insist on that. So community development needs to get better and faster. We need affordable housing, and the third thing I have is we need to listen to business, and I do that. We heard our businesses say the electricity outages are hurting us. I instigated monthly meetings with NV Energy, and things are improving.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you, Charlotte. I appreciate it. I'm going to move to question number 5, since I guess I was the youngest one here. It said the median age in Douglas County. So Diane, you're going to be up next, so be ready. I'm going to read the question. All right, you ready? All right. The median age in Douglas County is 56.7 years old. I got a couple more, because according to Renee, we're 20-something. So the median age in Nevada is 39 years old. What are your solutions to attract the younger generations to Douglas County, and why, Diane?
So, for the younger residents, it's the workforce housing. Workforce housing in Douglas County, it's becoming one of the defining issues of whether a community can actually function in the future. Right now, the people who keep our county running, teachers, EMTs, sheriffs, deputies, county staff, service people, they can't afford to live here. They're commuting in from outside the county just to do jobs that are essential for our safety, our schools, and our economy. That creates burnout, turnover, and it drives up the cost for taxpayers because we're constantly replacing and retraining those employees. In Tahoe, the problem is even more severe. There's limited land, regulatory constraints, and high demand, meaning housing supply hasn't kept pace with the workforce that supports us. We don't have a low-income housing issue alone. We have a full workforce gap.
Thank you,
And if
Diane.
we don't address it, we'll continue to see.
Awesome. That sounds awesome. Thank you. Scott, what are you going to do to, what's your solution to attract the younger generations to Douglas County, and why?
Well, sure, I'm going to answer that, but first, we got to keep our existing residents here. Right now, it's hard to live here. It's expensive to live here. If you're a senior on a fixed income, nobody has done more to keep seniors in their own home for as long as they possibly can, aging in place. That is a priority of mine. It still is a priority of mine. Attracting new, younger homeowners is difficult. Affordable housing, not the solution. You build affordable housing, we're going to have people from out of state gobbling them up, paying cash for them. We need a workforce housing program. We need to work with the Housing Authority about a down payment program for our deputies, for our school teachers, for your family members. Those are the things that I heard when I served on 3 separate committees representing social services in Douglas County about affordable housing. It's not about necessarily affordable housing. It's a service industry for sure, but it's your family members who want to live here. First, they have to have a job. They have to have a job that pays well. Let's elevate pay scale and jobs in our community so our family members and we can afford housing in Douglas County.
Thank you. All right, Charla, you're up.
This is great. I squeezed a whole bunch of words saying the same thing in the last question, but I'll expand
Thank
on
you.
this one. We really need our best minds thinking on this. We need to figure out ways, as Scott said, to restrict that housing so it does what we want it to do. And I think there are ways to do this. We have tasked staff in our strategic plan with finding things that work in other places. They've been to conferences. We are queuing this up to grab hold of this issue and grapple with it. It is a complex issue. It is being faced in many communities across the nation, but we can do better than we're doing now. So I mentioned some things quickly. We can, here's a couple more things. Perhaps we do not require an building permit allocation for qualified housing. We make sure and restrict that qualified housing to the demographics we want it to serve. We incentivize builders, and we get that building in the right place. I think, well, I have my places picked out, but that might take too long. This can be done, and we can work on it, and I look forward to it.
Thank you, Charla. And Mimi.
Question. So actually, I agree with most of the panel here regarding the need to bring in younger citizens. But instead of bringing them in, why don't we keep who's here? Why don't we keep our high school students here, provide vocational schooling, college? We do have some college available to them. But how do you keep them here so they finish what they need to do, learn what they need to do, and then be able to live here? And it also goes to the pay scale in terms of if they can afford to stay here, if they have a job here, once they do get the required schooling that they need. Not everybody needs to go to college. Vocational schools are just as important as a four-year college. So, and also too, there's also state first-time home buyer programs under the housing division, and it's relying on that to assist when necessary. So there is that available. The county could look at reducing fees, building permit fees for homes, for a more affordable housing for residents that need to come here, as long as the developer passes
time is
that cost cut to the new buyer.
Thank you, Mimi. I appreciate it. Nobody mentioned the pickleball courts. Come on now. I mean, seriously, right? I mean, all right. Maybe that's because I'm old. Okay, so that will attract them, trust me. Thank you guys so much for those questions. Now we go to the speed round, the audience rounds, the questions. So be ready to go. Appreciate the audience. We had a couple good questions. So Jacques, I'll let you start out with a couple of them.
Sure. And I think we'll have everyone answer this. It says to Mimi and Charla, but it seems like it's important to all of us. How can you ensure rural, quiet living in East Valley with planes and trucks ruining our quality of life? What changes can you ensure to keep that quality of life? And I'll start with Charla.
The county worked for over 3 years to keep the Painted Rock Mine from getting the federal permits it needed. Ultimately, the federal agencies permitted it, and I have worked since that time to mitigate those trucks, that noise, that dust. It's really tied into the federal agencies that permitted the mine. We have to get them to implement the restrictions and the mandates that are in the environmental analysis. We have made some headway in that. We will continue working on that. There are other things we can do, like get trucks off of East Valley, because we're finding they're taking a shortcut up East Valley and out Johnson Lane. We need to get those trucks out of there. They have no business there. And we have an ordinance coming this week that will do that. And I'm committed to doing everything we can to mitigate those impacts, and we'll continue to do that. But the key is to really engage those federal agencies that really can enforce what they said they would do.
And again, this is a question from the audience, and I'll just go down the way. Scott, how can you ensure rural, quiet living in East Valley with planes and trucks ruining our quality of life?
Sure. Well, briefly about our airport, our great airport, Minden Tahoe Airport. You know, it needs to be kept a general aviation airport. I am opposed to any expansion, tower, any talk that would increase traffic at that airport. It needs to be the glider capital of the world, which it should be. With respect to Painted Rock Mine, the sewer district mine, I'm opposed to the sewer district mine. I'm opposed to any traffic on East Valley. That's a road made of grindings. Can barely hold a bike. I've built bike paths better than East Valley Road, and it cannot handle truck traffic. I drafted an ordinance that stopped Painted Rock Mine in its track. It was an ordinance that closed the last block of Johnson Lane Road. Got a first reading, and that's the extent of it. Had that ordinance been implemented, that mine would have been shut down. I worked about 4 months on battling in the environmental document opposing Painted Rock Mine. I am there with those residents, and I will work hard to make lemonade out of the lemons you've been handed.
Same question for Diane. How can you ensure rural, quiet living in East Valley with planes and trucks ruining our quality of life?
Planes and trains and automobiles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk about Painted Rock as well, because it comes down to balance, and right now that balance is off completely. I understand the need for local materials and economic benefit to the Washoe allotment land, but we cannot ignore what residents on Johnson Lane are dealing with every day. Too many trucks, dust in the air, concerns about water use, and real health and safety risks in a residential neighborhood. What makes this even more frustrating is that because it's on federal trust land, Douglas County has limited authority. This doesn't mean we do nothing. This means we work harder. We should be advocating for a stronger mitigation, stricter enforcement, and real accountability from the operator and the federal agencies. My priority is simple: protect our residents' health, safety, and quality of life while pushing for the responsible solutions. At the end of the day, approval on paper that we are all talking about doesn't mean protection in practice, and our community deserves both.
Thank you. Mimi, same question for you. Do you support the no, sorry, wrong one. How can you ensure?
We got it. We're a little yard sale. It's okay. You're
got
good.
it.
You're good. It's good.
I got it. Rural living in East Valley, yes.
Yeah,
That question. Okay.
that question.
Okay. Actually, I would agree with Diane on that, and I differ with Charla on her comments regarding working toward mitigation and the agreement that was put in place. That agreement that was drafted by Charla and staff has no teeth. There's no mitigation regarding and essentially affecting the quality of life of Johnson Lane and East Valley residents. The county has failed in that regard. What I would propose is that there be a sit-down with the operator and the trust owner and try to start over. Because something happened in that process where there's no cooperation, there's no collaboration, nothing. And so I would like to have Douglas County take the lead in setting up a meeting with the owner and the operator, and also set up a task force to try to come to some agreement. And that's involving the residents, again, but it needs to be done.
And this seems to be a specific, ongoing.
Hold on 1 second. I felt a body language. Go ahead, Charlotte. If you want to do a rebuttal on that, I'll give that to you.
Very good.
Go ahead.
So the key is, we do not permit Painted Rock Mine, so we do not have any leverage there. The federal agencies need to enforce the requirements of the EA, and they have used the agreement we entered into, that they have written into their own requirements, which is the only way to have leverage over Knox Excavating, is through the federal agencies, because we can't revoke the permits. The federal agencies can. The idea of sitting down and coming to a different agreement is frankly laughable. There is no impetus or no way to make them agree to anything else.
Thank you so much. It's going so well. Let's do a rebuttal, a double rebuttal. Mimi, go ahead. I saw your facial expression.
Okay. So in my mind,
About my airport
yes,
comments?
no, it
Oh, not
wasn't your
rebutting that?
airport.
Okay.
No, it wasn't the airport. No, it wasn't the airport. Agreements can be modified if you take the time and the patience and you give the other side the opportunity to voice their concerns and where they're coming from and why are they doing what they're doing. What the county needs to do is get the information from these outside agencies, NDEP, BIA, that permitted the mining use, needs to get that information and then work from there. Because you don't know if that operator has submitted air quality testing, water quality testing, any of that to those agencies. So you're reacting based on nobody following what the rule is in the agreement, which is useless.
Thank you, Mimi. Scott, do you have anything? Are you good? No airport?
I'm good.
Okay.
Stand
you're
by
good.
my comments.
All right. Roger that. All right. All right, I got one from the audience. Oh my gosh, it's like my handwriting. Okay. This is to all you guys, and we're not going to do it in order. You guys just pick who's going to take the lead and yeah, right? Do you think VHRs should be allowed in all Douglas County? If yes, then why? Do you think it's is it a business? It's up to you. I did my best. I'm sorry, that was it. So we'll go with, do you think VHRs should be allowed in all Douglas County? We'll just leave it like that.
I'll take the first bite.
Roger, go ahead.
You know, I've lived in Lake Tahoe for coming on 33 years. My neighborhood is devastated by VHRs. It is a ghost town. It's eerie. Ride my bike every day. Second homes, VHRs. And I was adamantly opposed to them. Certainly. What they did to my community, trashing my yard, parking in my driveway. But Douglas County has done their very, very best. It is no longer a problem in my community. It is still a ghost town. It has changed the face of my community. And from the $4.5 million it generates in room tax that comes down here in the valley to the additional sales tax by having those visitors here, it is a proposition I can live with. So I have changed my view. Not that I'm necessarily support, because it has changed my community, but I am tolerant of VHRs, and I recognize the value they have to the valley and to Lake Tahoe.
Thank you so much. Who wants to take a stab at it? All right, perfect. We're doing the hand raise. I like that. Go ahead. No, you're good. You're good.
So the current VHR system in Douglas County, it raises two important issues: fairness and how we define what a vacation rental actually is. On fairness, the current system asks Tahoe residents to carry the impacts of vacation rentals while the valley is protected from them. That may have made sense in 2005, but today it raises a real fairness issue. A county-wide policy that treats residents differently based solely on location can feel inherently uneven, especially as both areas contribute to the same base and the same governments and tax base. We either need consistent countywide standards, or we need to be honest about why one community is being asked to shoulder more and what they're getting in return. On the same note, we need to rethink what vacation rentals are in the valley. It is not just a big, large party. It's many users use it for families to visit relatives. They use it for seniors looking for quiet accommodations, golfers coming for weekends.
Thank you.
And
No, you're good. Your time is
okay.
Sorry. Not to be that, like,
I didn't
top
say
hat.
what I do, but that's okay.
Anybody else want to take a stab at it?
I'll take a stab at it.
Perfect.
I have heard residents of the lake say, and I feel their sincerity, why do we have to have these and you don't? And my answer is, your economy has had short-term rentals, casual or now more regulated, for a long time. And it is embedded in the lake economy. That is not the case in the valley. That is the reason I can say I do not support VHRs in the valley. And I am very proud of the regulation we have done at the lake. I agree with Scott that our code enforcement has done an excellent job at the lake. Do I wish we could make the lake a family, all family neighborhoods? Yes, I do. That's not in the cards.
Thank you. So a little history. I actually, in 2005, helped create the original vacation home rental ordinance because we were having complaints from people renting out their homes in the Douglas County portion. So we looked at South Lake Tahoe and what their vacation rental requirements were, and we tailored our code similar to what South Lake Tahoe did. And the reason it was set up for Lake Tahoe is because Charla is correct. The tourism, the economy is different than here in the valley, and so it restricted here in the valley, and I would say that that still applies today. But Douglas County can do better on the code enforcement side. It's gotten better with the changes to the vacation home rental ordinance. But don't forget, code enforcement needs to be involved in the valley portion, not just vacation home rentals. Our code enforcement department needs to work harder on the rest of Douglas County. Don't forget, we have another area beside Lake Tahoe that needs to be enforced.
Thank you. Hang in there. We've got a couple more. We've got a couple more. All right, go ahead.
Okay, this question's for all, and I'll start with Scott Morgan. So far, the only list of campaign contributors was through March 31st. Will you commit to disclosing further contributions 2 weeks prior to the primaries?
Oh, yes. Who would say no? Of course not. You know what? I don't know. I believe I'm the only candidate that doesn't have an auto take a donation on my website. I am selective about where my money comes from. I will not be beholden to any group I'm not supporting. That's why you just can't send me a check. You got to talk to me first if you want to contribute to my campaign. It's not that important to me to raise a lot of money, although I could. I have chosen not to. I am selective about my money, and I am happy to report where every penny that my dollars come, and I'm happy to report where they are spent.
Thank you so much. I
Yep, thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Diane, same question. So far, the only list of campaign contributors was through March 31st. Will you commit to disclosing further contributions in the 2 week prior to the primaries?
Absolutely. I think it's a state law. And I do have a little button on my website to donate, but it's, the 20th century, and that's how people do things. They do things on their phone. So, but I do take checks as well. But no, I'm not out looking for large donations. I don't need the money to run, but I'll absolutely report what I get. But the donations I'm getting are small. Which is nice, because I haven't ordered signs yet, and I understand from my fellow candidates that that's expensive, but no, I'll absolutely report, yes.
Charlotte. Same question. So far, the only list of campaign contributors was through March 31st. Will you commit to disclosing further contributions 2 weeks prior to the primary?
Yes, I will. Be happy to post those on my website. I am grateful to the many donors who have given me money. I also want to tell Scott, I did set up a button. I've had exactly one contribution through that button, and it was so you're not missing out on much. But I have a lot of people send me checks, and I'm deeply grateful, and I'm very, very happy to share that information. And I do take money because I believe I'm the better candidate. I am loyal to the taxpayer. I am a passionate advocate for the residents. I work hard for every single one of you. And because of that, I want to keep going and to keep doing this. And that is why I take your money when you're willing to share it, because it's very, very expensive to run a campaign. Thank you.
Very good. Mimi, so far the only list of campaign contributors was through March 31st. Will you commit to disclosing further contributions 2 weeks prior to the primary?
Yes, without a doubt. Anybody can contribute to my campaign. I'm not beholden to anybody, but if someone provides donor information to me and money for my campaign, I thank them for that, and I talk to them. I talk to each and every one of them, and I ask them why you're providing that donation. And I find out, essentially, that they believe it's time for change, and they support my ideals and my process for working with the citizens over the years, and that I will be a fair Board of Commissioner. And so that's what I hear repeatedly. And so yes, I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Okay, one more audience question. Oh, you want a rebuttal?
Not necessarily, just a clarification. It is
go
not
ahead.
state law to report your finances
That's
until
true.
July 15th is the next reporting period. So this is a special request that we've committed to. And again, I want to avoid all perception of being beholden to a donor. That's why I'm ultra selective
Exactly.
about where I'm taking my dollars.
Agreed.
It's expensive to run a campaign, no doubt.
So-
And it's more
so-
work than it is expense, to be quite
So what
honest.
was that date?
It is
Exactly, 2 weeks. So what is the date?
2 weeks. What date is the 2 weeks from? Well, actually, right before the primary, which is June 9th. You wanting
weeks
a
before
disclosure.
that.
Okay.
I believe we all said we'd be happy to do that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. One
On our
last question, so
websites,
get
then.
ready for your closing. But this one is good. I think it hit the record career a couple times. It's an interesting question. So this is to all of you guys. What do you think we need a performing arts center? Don't you think the money can be spent elsewhere? And who would like to bite off that one? Go ahead.
I would certainly, because I've been involved in that. And I know it's a complex issue, and I've been down this road before. Nobody's building a cultural performing arts center today. It has been secured. I call it the Lampe Park for kids and adults that like to sing and dance and perform in the arts. We don't have one. There was a unique opportunity that was created with one-time money that's restricted. I'm sorry, it's restricted by state law. It can only be used for these purposes. Because of COVID, and I'm going to take credit for this, when COVID hit, I shut down. I shut down this building. I shut down my department. I had 22 people I furloughed. I saved a lot of money, and We set records in room tax. We generated a $7 million surplus. That got pecked away at in the county for whatever reason it was, and there was an opportunity to buy the old movie theater for a culture performing arts center. It was in our strategic plan, it was a priority, and it was an opportunity to secure the Lampe Park that may not be built for 20 years, and no general fund money will ever go to that culture performing arts center, or will it ever be supported by the general fund. It's going to be restricted revenues, and it's going to be private donations, our Arts Council and the Community Service Foundation.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Anybody else want to take a stab at that? Mimi, go ahead.
I will, thank you. So the $2.9 million that the county spent on purchasing that property, it's a 30-year-old building and it needs to be remodeled. The roof is bad, electrical, plumbing, all of that needs to be redone. And the county is saying that that will be paid through the Carson Valley, the Arts Council itself. We'll see if that actually happens. So a lot of people have asked me, was that a good investment for the county? And I have to question that, because I don't believe that the county really proved that it met the criteria for recreation and tourism. That's my question to the Board of Commissioners. It's a performing arts center. Does it bring in tourists from other areas? Carson City, Reno, they have their own performing arts. So the question is it really going to benefit the county over time? Thank you.
Charlotte, would you like to?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The answer is yes. I've spoken with the Carson Valley Visitors Authority and Keith Lewis. I've spoken with others on this exact point, and yes, it brings people here, along with all of our other events and festivals that we have, and we have a lot of great things here. It is another piece of the puzzle that will attract people and entertain them while they are here. And it also goes back to, how do we keep families here? It's right by the high school. The school district has wanted a performing arts center for many, many years. This allows them to have that venue to support those kids who aren't necessarily sports oriented, who need more activities. This helps our adults stay active and engaged in the community. This is a good thing, and it is not being funded by general fund. It's being funded by restricted funds, and the majority of it is going to be from our nonprofits. And I'm excited about the opportunity, and I commit to you, not general funds.
Yes, go ahead, Don.
It kind of makes me think of the Tahoe Event Center, but I'm not going to go there. So I don't know if it was a smart purchase, but I do agree that we need the arts in the school. We need it. But an example, in South Lake Tahoe, California, they were able to get grant funding of almost $30 million to put a new facility for the school. It's at the school, but all the community uses it for performing arts. They can even make movies in there and televisions and commercials. It's amazing. But again, I think we have to make sure that the residents trust that the money that we're spending is spending where it should be spent, and that this isn't going to change in the future. So
Perfect, thank you. Thanks for the question out there in the audience.
If I may,
I know-
Woody, I have a rebuttal.
All right, we're going
I
to do it.
just want to expand
Go ahead, Scott.
on
Yeah, just
use
land
of
it.
tax dollars as probably the county resident expert on the use of room tax and other tax purposes. The room tax dedicated to Douglas County for recreation purposes is for recreation, does not have to be for tourism to create tourism. This facility was built for kids that like to dance and do arts, that don't play softball. I spent my whole life making sure kids had ball fields and community centers to be in. We have missed the boat with respect to the people that like the arts. We run the Dangberg Home Ranch with a nonprofit, been run for years that way, successfully. This facility we run successfully by a nonprofit, and the arts is
All right.
recreation.
Thank you. I think we covered a lot of the performing arts. So you guys get ready mentally. You ready for closing? We're going to land the plane on that. We have closing remarks, and we're going to do reverse order from where we started. So it'll be Charlotte, Scott, Diane, and Mimi. So, and then also as a reminder, we're going to take a 10-minute break before the next debate. But these guys will be hanging out. You can ask them some questions. I'm sure there's some follow-up and some other stuff that you'd like to ask. So appreciate you guys being here and being quiet for the video. Appreciate that. So we're going to start out with closing remarks. Charla, go ahead.
In the last 3.5 years, this County Board of Commissioners has gotten a lot done. We brought the Justice Center to construction, and now it's on time and under budget with no new taxes. That frees up space for Sheriff Dan Coverly, for District Attorney Mark Jackson. They need more space to ensure the public safety that this community insists on and it deserves. We have built Mueller Parkway to a rural standard, which is the appropriate standard in a rural setting. It is a solid road that will serve this community well, and we've set aside funds to finish the county's portion to get it over to 395 North. A serious plan is well underway to prevent flooding from stormwater and return money to roads and to conserve critical ranch land. We've brought greater transparency to county government because we have emails that tell you what our Board of Commissioners is doing before and after their meetings, and we have a website with incredible amounts of information about every major project and plan that we are undertaking. Through my work specifically, China Spring Youth Camp is on solid financial footing and is using best practices to protect youth. The public administrator is functioning with fidelity and estates are being handled appropriately. And the county is vigorously defending against a meritless lawsuit, seeking many, many millions of tax dollars to benefit one developer. I would be honored to have your vote and continue working on these and other concerns that are your concerns and advocating for taxpayers.
Thank you, Charla. Scott.
All right, well, thank you. Well, my wife said before I started this, she said, sweetheart, be brief and be funny. So I'm not sure I'm going to get critiqued tonight. But anyway, you know what? I've learned a lot tonight, and I've listened. I've always learned, and I've always valued the opportunity to engage with the community. My record stands for itself. My commitment is consistent, and my integrity is unquestioned. I've been honored by as the Healthcare Provider of the Year for my public health work in this community and women's health in this community. I've received 2 recognitions from the Nevada Taxpayers Association for my work. I've received a Lifetime Achievement Award for my profession and from the Business Council. There is even an award in this county named for integrity and leadership that bears my name. I bring a strong record of fiscal management, responsibility, stewardship of taxpayer dollars. I understand how our county operates financially, including the overlapping tax rate, sales tax, rooms tax, enterprise funds, and our utility systems. I'm a conservative Republican, committed to supporting our economy and the economy that is the engine at Lake Tahoe. I will serve all residents of Douglas County, protect our agriculture, promote efficient, transparent government, strengthen emergency management, and public safety. I have no personal agenda. I am only running to serve. And I respectfully ask for your support and your vote this November.
Thank you, Scott. Diane.
So at the end of the day, voters have a choice between continuing the same approach or choosing a path that prioritizes responsible growth, fiscal accountability, and protecting what makes Douglas County special. I want to be clear about what this campaign is about. I'm running to be the voice of the residents. That means transparency in the decision-making, accountability in the outcomes, and a commitment to listening before decisions are finalized, not after. I'm running to bring that accountability and make sure that we get this right. I support growth, but only when it's responsible, transparent, and aligned with what the community actually wants. We can choose a path where residents are engaged, respected, and heard, or we can continue with the same patterns that leave too many people feeling left out. I believe we can do better, and I'm ready to deliver that change. The choice is simple: continue the same patterns, or choose a leadership that listens before it decides. And I want to thank everyone for the time today, and thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mimi.
It's time for a change in leadership, because leadership must be fiscally responsible with taxpayer dollars. Know where your money is being spent. Leadership must be accountable to the decisions that are made, good or bad. Regarding Mueller Parkway, that was a bad decision on the design requirements and the flood mitigation. and a road design or designation doesn't change from the north end of Minden to the south end of Gardnerville. It's all an urban collector road. Leadership must follow the adopted standards identified in the master plan and other adopted codes. That means follow the law, apply the regulatory standards. Leadership is listening, caring, and taking action to improve our quality of life. It's time to restore the public trust. I will commit to being that type of leader representing all of Douglas County residents. Vote for me on June 9th, and thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. It takes a lot to be up here, you guys, so I know I'm going against the grain, and Renee said no clapping, but I think a round of applause would be amazing. Great work, guys. And then, like I said, just we're going to fix the stage for the next crew to come in, but hang out and talk to them. They're right here. So, yeah, you guys, if you want to exit this way, I'd appreciate it. Thank you again.